very much for that introduction.
I have a little technical issue here. Let me just, you able, do you want to hold this?
Well, why don't you just take that out of the way?
Technology
Just
is
take-
wonderful,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
A briefcase.
Yeah.
Let's see if
Now-
that works.
Now,
We're
as
going
I,
to try it.
we're going to try it all over, up at the top. I appreciate the introduction. Most of it is true. I'm very happy to be here. Coming up 94, I'm very happy to be anywhere. And especially if I know where I'm at. The latter one is very important. Live long enough and you'll find that out for yourself. I titled my speech built around corporations developing and building a good name, which is how we described what we did 25, 30, 40 years ago. I think that there's so much going on in the environment that public relations operates in that it's time that we sort of went back to some basics. And my point is that although we do have absolutely gigantic changes in the way we disseminate news or information, public relations is not going to disappear. Advertising is not going to disappear. One of the things that irks me is when I read in one of the trade papers, will digital replace public relations, which to me is a lot of nonsense. I regard digital as a utility that can be used to get messages out. And it started, this ability to get messages out really goes back to the 15th century when Gutenberg invented the printing press. And then along came the telegraph, the telephone, motion pictures, radio, cable, television, and so forth and so on. And the latest is, of course, digital, and it is a very powerful medium. I think perhaps the most powerful of all because it's the most versatile. It's the only one where if you marry it with a credit card, you can actually complete a business transaction on digital and not move out of your chair. I'm also concerned about right now the low esteem in which business is held by the general public. Dan Yankelovich started doing surveys of trust in business back in the 1960s. The trust in business today is lower for business than any time since those studies were made, down into the single digits, very low double digits. In fact, the only institution in society that has lower trust is the Congress. I think they stopped using used car salesmen. So I want to talk about three subjects today. The first of them is a definition of public relations, or what I believe is the definition of public relations, which to me has been a subject of great controversy through the years, and we're in this nowheresville right now where most companies, most public relations people have dropped public relations as a descriptor for what they do and substituted communication. I want to talk about that. I want to also talk about the role of the public relations officer, a little bit about the evolution of the public relations function, and then if we have some time, I want to talk to you about a case history in which I participated in, which I think epitomizes what the function is all about. One of my great frustrations is that people, including professionals, can't give you a definition for public relations. I was married to my wife for 63 years, 50 of which my mother-in-law was alive, and after 50 years she couldn't tell her friends what I did for a living. But also, I want to try to overcome the myth that public relations is a 20th century phenomenon. The Ten Commandments were not written on parchment. They were carved in pieces of stone. And the Romans didn't build those wide boulevards to avoid traffic jams. They used them to march their legions to show the rest of the world how powerful they were. Martin Luther didn't paste his 95 Theses on the cathedral bulletin board. He nailed them to the cathedral door. The purpose of the Boston Tea Party was hardly to protest a small tax on tea. It was to dramatize the broader concept, no taxation without representation. All of these were exercises in public relations to dramatize the event or the situation at hand. So people were using public relations, I think, ever since languages were developed. If you want one word to define public relations, that word would probably be persuade. People have always wanted to persuade one another to do something or not to do something or to do something else. And in the process was public relations. It was offered first as a discipline in 1900 when two men, Parker and later Ivy Lee, joined him. A man named George Parker in Boston started something called the Boston Publicity Bureau, and that was in 1900. Public relations got a big boost during World War II when Woodrow Wilson created the Committee on War Information, which was headed by a man named George Creel, two of whose employees became really very, very committed to public relations and contributed greatly to it. One of them was Edward L. Bernays, who later founded his own firm, and the other one was Carl Bayer, who also founded his firm, which was acquired by Helen Knowlton about 20 years ago. So public relations has been around for a long time. While there are at least as many definitions of public relations as there are textbooks and deep thinkers about the discipline, the one most succinctly that encapsulates its totality comes, I think, from the rapper words, if you're going to talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. An early simplified version was public relations is doing good and getting credit for it. A more academic definition goes like this. Public relations is the applied social science employed to develop policies and behavioral patterns which, when communicated effectively, motivates individuals or groups to a desired course of action. This definition recognizes two components that must be brought to bear. The first is behaving in such a manner that accords with the public interest. The second is communicating so persuasively that it will motivate the desired audience to take a specific action. Of the two, I think behavior is the most important. And one of the things that concerns me nowadays is that I think too much attention is being given to communications on how to get something cute on social media that will storm the country and take over, rather than courses of behavior. And I think the result of that is the low esteem that business is held today. I think there are a lot of shortcuts being taken, as manifested by the number of fines that the federal government and other branches of government are fining business institutions for violating the law. Also, the fact that businesses it does not have the cachet that it had. More college students are avoiding big business, doing the small business than ever before, things of that kind. The public relations professionals leverage where we gain our power is in working or shaping opinion or attitudes. There are three and only three ways that leverage